Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Dragway Memories. We got lots to show you this week. Some CDRS, some bogus Bob history, and of course the box art. We'll start with some box art right now. Bob Elliott, aka Bogus Bob, bought this Camaro back when it was new, and here's a little story about it from Bill Richards.
Alright, special story on a special car, RW Bob Elliott, draft lifter number 2. Bob tells me it was named after an alcoholic beverage, nothing to do with crossing the border, which was quite an issue in 1970. This car was a special order, purple, not a factory offered color, LT1Z28, so it had the 370 horsepower 350 with a 4-gear, only way you could get it. Ordered it special, brand new in 1970, took it racing immediately. You can see that he has tunnel ram on there already, slapper bars, some different rims. That is the original paint still. Demodified production car. Didn't last long. This is 1971-72, and you can see that the draft lifter number 3, the Ball Auctions coming on board in Guelph. And they were a big auction house at the time. By now, this picture's at Toronto International, and there's Bob and his wife Gloria. This is from TID, as I mentioned, already as a C gasser. They've taken the front end off and put fiberglass pieces on. It's had a couple of different scoops already. A full roll cage in it, a narrowed rear end. Lots of changes being made in this version, now running as a C gasser. And you can see the different front end and the tunnel ram and all the structures gone. Racing head service, providing some cylinder heads at this point. And that's also at Toronto International Dragway. Now you can see he's moved down one class to D gas. Still with the same combination, different hood, more lightweight. Still a small block Chevy powered with a tunnel ram. And now with a Chrysler 4-speed. That's a very excellent color shot. Check out all the stuff in the background, the Dalton gang out of Buffalo behind there. So you can see that there's quite a bit of money spent on the paint job on this car. Still sponsored by Ball Auctions. Leaf Spring Lakewood slapper bar car. And then we get into the chop top, another different scoop. And look at Bob's rig for taking him there, 67 Chevy with a ramp truck back on it. This machine had a heavy top chop. He said it was difficult to see. You can see that this is near the end of its lifespan. More and more weight out of it. Now running in C altered. Bob Elliott's specialty shop. He had his own shop by this point. And this is very near the end. Lots of trickery. The cage was moved, lots of framework done by this point. It has a full frame in it now, modern wheelie bars, parachute, all that stuff as it's nearing the end of its lifespan. What happened now is he was getting into pro stock racing and that sort of thing, and he sold it to stock car racers who wanted the frame and the roll cage and all that. They took the body off it and threw it out and used the frame for portions of their stock car. So this car, as amazingly rare as it is, no longer exists.
In the late 90s, early 2000s, the CDRS, Canadian Drag Racing Series, ruled the roost. Pro-modified action coming at you.
Canadian Drag Racing Series. Bob Nagy in the supercharged Corvette Canadian versus the Audi machine. Fred Hahn Nice guy, very personable guy to talk to, very modest. This machine was one killer piece out of Synergen Racing Oil, blower drive service, many others on board. Audi spent a great deal of time at Cayuga. Pro Mod action at Cayuga Dragway. There's Bruce Beagler in the bottom corner. Speaking of Bruce, Bruce Boland, I think this was one of their best looking Pro Mods. I like the paint, I like how it looked. Of course, Bruce could drive just about anything, and some of the cars that he drove when no one else could go A to B. Very capable handler. Tony Pontieri, ex-Al Billis car. Notice the Can-Am influence from Performance Engineering and Grando and Billis and all those guys. Definitely ahead of the curve. Nice little car. Corvette. Bruce Boland. Numerous Canadian champion. And sometimes it'd be almost the beginning of the season, he still didn't have a car. He'd find something somewhere and swore he wasn't going to race and end up running the whole tour and winning the championship. Bruce was that kind of guy. Pontieri, nitrous-powered Camaro. Ed Wasserback out of Ohio. Campaigned this car for quite some time. Moved to a Camaro, and then that Camaro didn't do well, and Rob's got some shots of it upside down and wrecked pretty good. Right here at this track. This was a good performer for him. 57 Chevy. So we had a great deal of Americans in this series. Some of the better ones too, including Mike Janis. Here we go. That is Fred Spate and Larry Sinke at the switch. Doing a great job. There's Fred opening the door up and doing some kind of instruction or turning something on. Wasserback. Pretty much made all of the Canadian Drag Racing Series, towing up from Ohio. Never the fastest, never the slower, but always made it a race, which was just as important. Fans getting a great show. Larry Sinke in the 38 Chev. On and off the throttle there. Wasserback. Pat Moore, heavy hitter from Ohio. Casey Jansen in the Lumina. Later ran a Corvette for a sheriff out of Alaska. Car wasn't campaigned out of there, but Casey got the chance to drive it for at least one season. This is Casey's own machine. Did very well with this car. The Roy Steffi entry, Pat Moore, veteran Pro Mod campaigner at the wheel. Now that's a drag race. Moore gets it. Another car out of Ohio, Mopar powered. Mike Papadamou, 500 inches, 5-speed, pro stock combination. The Killer Instinct car, all Mopar. Papadamo's Eddie Brick built machine. FJ tells me that Papadamo and the boys spent many a moon on FJ's dyno, using up literally garbage pail full of parts trying to find an extra 500 RPM out of their 500-inch Mopars, Chevys, the Mopar in the far lane, I'm sorry. Both of them off the throttle early. Jason McKnight showing Al Billis the Murray Anderson built car. Chassis was built in Australia and shipped over. Murray Anderson also spent a bit of time in North America building chassis. I think he's back home now. Gary Irving, there's the bullhorn. Doug Hersham's invention. Billis just coming into his own as a major player in Pro Modified with this yellow machine. Jason McKnight pulling. Gary Irving, of course, a veteran campaigner, partnered up with a few different folks on various projects, including this 52 Chev out of the Lowdown Hot Rod Shop. Mike Janis, talk about heavy hitters. And I mean, he sure was local. Across the street in Lancaster, New York, Jansen Automotive. Selling everything from skidoos to dyno work and everything in between. Great group of folks. Mike at the top of his game in NHRA Pro Modified now. Always had some best appearing cars. Here all the gear changes finish up with the Fast 664.
Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. And remember, hook hard, go straight, never be late, and may your God bless you. Wear the damn mask. See you next week.